I often begin my day in stillness with a simple ritual, a warm cup of milk held gently between my palms. For many, especially those in their later years, such moments are sacred. A quiet breakfast, a body that needs care, a life that has seen enough to value simplicity. But within these simple habits, mistakes often hide, quiet, unassuming, yet persistent. Have you ever paired a glass of milk with a slice of orange, believing you're nourishing your body? Or added milk to your morning coffee, hoping to start strong? You are not alone. Millions do this every day, especially older adults who are seeking nourishment, strength, and comfort, and yet many still suffer from unexplained bloating, fatigue, joint pain, or digestive discomfort. They adjust medications, blame aging, or think it's just how life feels after 65. But what if the root of the problem isn't age, but combination? The truth is, not all foods are meant to be together. Even the purest ingredients, when mismatched, can turn nourishment into stress. In this journey, I will walk with you through 6 common food combinations involving milk that may be silently working against your health. This is not fear, it is awareness. And awareness, when combined with kindness, becomes wisdom. So breathe gently, sit with me. Let us rediscover how to eat, not just to live, but to live with clarity, ease, and grace. Let us begin with the first pairing, milk and acidic fruits. It is one of the most common combinations and also one of the most quietly problematic. I remember meeting an elderly student in one of my workshops in California. Her name was Eleanor. She was 72, radiant with kindness, but burdened with constant digestive troubles, bloating, gas, discomfort after her morning meals. She told me, "But all I have for breakfast is a glass of milk and a bowl of fresh fruit. Isn't that supposed to be healthy?" What we often believe to be nourishing, when misunderstood, can quietly disturb the body's balance. Milk is a delicate food. It carries within it a protein called casein, smooth, soft, and nourishing when treated gently. But when casein meets certain types of acids, especially the citric acid found in fruits like oranges, pineapples, kiwi, and grapefruit, it curdles. This is not just theory, it is chemistry. When milk and acidic fruits are consumed together, the citric acid causes the milk's protein to coagulate, forming clumps inside the stomach. This process can slow digestion significantly, especially in older adults whose enzyme activity and stomach acid levels are naturally reduced. A study published in the Journal of Dairy Science observed that the presence of citric acid lowers milk stability and promotes rapid curdling. For a younger digestive system, this might go unnoticed, but for someone over 65, the effects often manifest as gas, indigestion, heaviness, or even a subtle fatigue after eating. Eleanor nodded slowly when I explained this. "It makes sense," she said. "I always feel sleepy after breakfast, like my body is fighting something." Many Americans are fond of pairing milk or yogurt with fresh fruit. This combination is everywhere, in smoothies, breakfast bowls, hotel buffets. And while yogurt may tolerate the presence of acidic fruit due to its already fermented state, fresh milk does not. This distinction matters. In yogurt, the fermentation process has already broken down much of the lactose and pre-processed the proteins. It is more stable in the presence of acid, but milk, raw or heated, is still intact. It reacts. Ayurveda, the ancient Indian science of life, also warned about this centuries ago. It teaches that milk and sour fruits belong to different energetic categories, and their combination disrupts the body's internal harmony, especially in the aging digestive fire known as Agni. Now, some may ask, is the solution to avoid milk or fruits? That is not the lesson. The lesson is timing. The lesson is awareness. Enjoy your milk. Let it be your nourishment, but allow your body the space and time to receive it. If you wish to have citrus or other acidic fruits, let them arrive later as a separate offering to your body, perhaps in the late morning or as a refreshing afternoon snack. This way, you honor both foods, and more importantly, you honor your body's wisdom. Eleanor made one simple change. She moved her fruit to a different time of day. 2 weeks later, her bloating faded. Her energy after breakfast returned. She didn't need a new medicine, only a new rhythm. So if you have felt discomfort that you couldn't explain, pause and reflect. Sometimes the body is not rejecting what you eat, it's asking for better harmony, and that is the beginning of living with more ease, not by adding more, but by aligning what's already there. Let's continue. The second combination worth our attention is milk and raw cucumber. What may seem refreshing on the tongue can become disruptive within. A soft summer morning, the sun not yet sharp. The table is set with a glass of milk, a few slices of cucumber, perhaps part of a refreshing salad. It feels innocent, gentle, even ideal, especially for those seeking a light, healthy meal in older age. But not all things that feel cooling to the tongue are kind to the stomach. Cucumber by nature is cold. In Ayurveda, it is classified as a cooling vegetable, one that soothes the heat of the body, calms inflammation, and lightens the system. But milk too is cooling. And when two cool energies meet in a weak digestive fire, particularly in those above 65, imbalance is born. Traditional medicine systems, including both Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, have long advised caution in combining milk with raw vegetables, especially cucumber. The reason is simple. Both are heavy to digest in different ways. Milk requires warmth and time. Cucumber brings moisture and cold. When paired, they confuse the digestive system, especially one that is already slowing with age. Scientific literature adds to this understanding. Though modern studies are limited, digestive specialists recognize that older adults often suffer from slowed gastric emptying, meaning the stomach processes food more slowly. Introducing multiple ingredients with conflicting digestive properties increases the risk of fermentation, gas, and bloating. I remember speaking to Thomas, a retired librarian from Oregon. I try to eat light, he told me. I make a salad with cucumber and drink milk with it because meat feels too heavy these days. But lightness, when misunderstood, can turn into weakness. He often felt a strange chill after meals, not cold in the air, but in his belly, as if something inside had not settled. This is what Eastern traditions refer to as cold dampness, an internal condition where digestive strength is weakened, absorption is poor, and the gut becomes a place of stagnation instead of transformation. In modern terms, this often manifests as chronic indigestion, loose stools, fatigue after eating, and a lack of appetite. Not dramatic symptoms, but ones that slowly wear away vitality. The problem is not cucumber, nor is it milk. The problem is the timing and the state of the body that receives them. Cucumber may serve well as part of a midday meal when the sun is high and digestive fire is strongest. Milk may be better suited for early morning or evening when calm and rest are needed. When taken together, especially raw, they place a demand on the stomach that is unkind, like asking fire to boil water while pouring cold into the same pot. After our conversation, Thomas made one small change. He ate his salad for lunch and saved his milk for the evening. Within 10 days, the discomfort left, his sleep deepened, his afternoon fatigue lightened. He wrote me a letter. I didn't know food could speak, but now I realize my body was speaking all along. I just didn't understand its language. We must remember, food is not only about nutrients. It is rhythm, it is temperature, it is memory. And for the aging body, simplicity often carries the deepest wisdom. Let's continue forward, not with fear, but with attentiveness. A third pairing, often seen as a symbol of strength, is raw eggs mixed with milk. Yet what is raw is not always ready. There is something ancient in the image of milk and eggs. For generations, people have believed that combining the two brings strength, protein, vitality, energy. It is common to see bodybuilders blend raw eggs into milk, seeking power in its purest form. But what is raw is not always ready. What is whole is not always safe. Eggs, when raw, contain a protein in the white called avidin. This protein binds to biotin, a B vitamin essential for healthy skin, hair, nerves, and metabolism. When bound, biotin cannot be absorbed by the body. Over time, and especially with regular intake, this can lead to deficiency. The signs are subtle: thinning hair, chronic fatigue, fragile nails, a mind that feels foggy, not sharp. This matters deeply for older adults whose ability to absorb nutrients is already diminished by age. Biotin deficiency is not rare in the elderly. Adding raw eggs regularly, especially mixed with milk, can make it worse without anyone noticing. The Journal of Nutrition and Health Sciences published findings in 2021 confirming that avidin in raw egg whites can significantly lower biotin absorption, particularly in individuals with existing gut absorption issues, which are common among seniors. But there is another layer. Raw eggs also carry a small but real risk of bacterial contamination, salmonella. While rare in high-quality eggs, this risk becomes more dangerous with age when the immune system is no longer as strong and recovery is slower. What causes mild discomfort in a young adult can become a serious complication in someone over 65. I met George, a 69-year-old former boxer from New Jersey. He still believed in raw egg shakes. "It's what we used in the old days," he said. "It builds real strength." But strength is not just in muscle, it is also in clarity, in knowing when tradition needs to evolve. George often experienced waves of nausea and dull headaches. He didn't make the connection until his doctor found signs of biotin deficiency. After switching to cooked eggs, his symptoms faded. He felt lighter, steadier. So what is the lesson here? It is not to fear the egg, nor to reject the nourishment it offers, but to understand that completion matters. Cooking the egg, even gently, deactivates avidin. It protects your biotin. It protects your gut. It respects the complexity of your body. In traditional Chinese medicine, raw and uncooked foods are said to strain the spleen qi, the energy of digestion. Especially in older people, raw eggs are considered too damp and heavy. Combined with milk, which is already rich and cooling, they become a burden rather than a blessing. This isn't about rules, it's about rhythm. A softly boiled egg, a glass of warm milk, taken at different times, can still be part of a nourishing life. But when we rush to combine what is not yet ready, we force the body to do what heat should have done. And in doing so, we waste energy, the very energy we try to gain. So pause. Cook your eggs. Let the process of fire transform what is raw into something kind. Nourishment is not just what we consume. It is how we prepare it. It is how we listen. And sometimes the smallest shift from raw to gently cooked is the beginning of profound healing. Let us move on, not only with knowledge, but with wisdom. The fourth combination brings together two generous gifts, milk and seafood. But not all sacred things belong on the same plate. The sea and the land, two realms, each with their own power. From the sea, we are given fish, shrimp, crab, rich in protein and minerals. From the land, we are offered milk, white, calming, nurturing. Both are sacred gifts, and yet not all sacred things belong on the same plate. In some kitchens, milk is used to make creamy seafood sauces, shrimp cooked in cream, crab in buttered milk. Delicious, yes, but for the aging body, such combinations may bring more burden than benefit. Let us look more closely. Seafood, particularly shellfish, is rich in phosphorus, a vital mineral for bones and metabolism. Milk is rich in calcium. On their own, both are important. But when consumed together in high amounts, especially in a single meal, they can interfere with each other's absorption. Scientific studies, including one published in Food and Chemical Toxicology, 2020, indicate that excess phosphorus may inhibit calcium uptake, particularly when calcium is present in dairy form. The result is not immediate, but over time it can contribute to calcium imbalance, digestive discomfort, and even skin reactions like mild rashes or itching, symptoms that are often overlooked or blamed on age. In traditional Chinese medicine, seafood and milk are seen as energetically mismatched. Seafood is considered cool and salty, while milk is sweet and damp. When combined, especially in individuals with weakened digestion, the mixture is believed to create internal disharmony, bloating, loose stools, and in sensitive cases, skin irritation. I recall a story shared by a woman named Clara, 74, from coastal Maine. "I love shrimp Alfredo," she told me. "It reminds me of when my husband used to cook, but I always feel heavy and sluggish after I eat it." She assumed it was simply aging. But after she separated seafood from dairy, saving creamy sauces for vegetables and enjoying seafood with lemon and herbs instead, the heaviness disappeared. "It felt like lifting a quiet weight I didn't know I was carrying," she said. "There's also the immune system to consider. In rare cases, milk and certain seafood proteins can create minor allergic-like responses, especially in individuals who are already sensitive. This doesn't always present as a full allergy. It may simply appear as facial flushing, itching, or a tightness in the belly. The message here is not to fear your food. The message is to listen. Seafood and milk both have value, but value also lies in knowing when to combine and when to separate. If you enjoy seafood, consider pairing it with light grains, steamed vegetables, or herbal broths. If you drink milk, let it be on its own, perhaps in the morning or evening, when the body is quiet and ready to absorb. Digestion is not just about what the body can break down, it is about what the body can welcome without conflict. In youth, the body has the strength to adapt to confusion, but in later years, wisdom must take the place of force. So eat with joy, but also with reverence. The sea and the pasture, let them nourish you, each in their own time, each in their own way. Let us continue. The fifth pairing is subtle, even routine: milk with strong tea or coffee. But even habits can cloud the body's ability to receive. Morning rituals are sacred. For many, the day does not truly begin until the first sip of hot coffee or the quiet pause with a cup of black tea. These moments feel grounding, comforting, and often a splash of milk is added for smoothness, for warmth, for habit. But even rituals must evolve with awareness. Both coffee and tea contain compounds known as tannins and caffeine. Tannins, while rich in antioxidants, are known to bind with minerals like iron and calcium, reducing their absorption. Caffeine too accelerates the movement of the digestive tract, making the body pass nutrients more quickly, sometimes before they are absorbed. Milk, on the other hand, is one of the most common sources of calcium for older adults. It also carries proteins and B vitamins, essential for maintaining muscle mass, bone density, and nerve health. But when milk is mixed with strong tea or coffee, especially in the same sitting, the benefits of both can be diminished. A study from the British Journal of Nutrition, 2017, confirmed that high tannin beverages, when consumed alongside dairy, reduced calcium absorption by up to 30%. In the elderly, where calcium loss is already a concern due to bone demineralization, this reduction can quietly accelerate the path toward osteoporosis. I once spoke with Helen, a retired school teacher in her early 70s. She never skipped her morning routine, a strong cup of black tea with milk, followed by her daily vitamins and calcium tablets. And yet, her doctor warned that her bone density was declining faster than expected. She was confused. "I take my supplements, I drink milk, I eat well." But when we looked closer, her timing was the issue. What she thought was a healthy habit, tea with milk and supplements, had become a barrier to absorption. By shifting her calcium intake to later in the day and keeping her tea plain in the morning, her body began to respond. Her next scan showed improved markers. Eastern traditions echo this wisdom. In traditional Chinese medicine, strong stimulants like concentrated tea or coffee are believed to disturb the kidney qi, the energetic root of vitality and bone health. The idea is simple: stimulation steals from reserves, and milk, which nourishes, is best not mixed with what depletes. This is not to say tea or coffee must be abandoned. They have their place in moderation with mindfulness. If you enjoy tea or coffee with milk, allow space between that and your key nutrient intake. Even an hour of separation can make a meaningful difference. The body, like a student, learns better when not overwhelmed. Digestion is a dance, not of force, but of timing. So ask yourself, is your morning beverage serving your energy or draining it quietly beneath habit? Helen's small shift brought big results. She still enjoys her tea, but she waits. She lets her body absorb what it needs without competition. The lesson is not to fear food or drink. The lesson is to understand the silent interactions they create. Let milk nourish, let tea awaken, but let each do their work in peace. Let us move onward with clarity. And finally, the sixth combination, hot milk mixed with added sugars. A comfort to the tongue, perhaps, but not always to the liver. There is something deeply comforting about a warm glass of milk at night. For many older adults, it is a ritual, a way to signal the end of the day, to calm the nervous system, to return to something familiar. A teaspoon of sugar, honey, or syrup is often added, not just for taste, but for memory. Sweetness, after all, speaks to the child within us. But even sweetness, when combined with heat, can turn into something the body does not welcome. When milk is heated, especially to near boiling temperatures, and combined with sugars like sucrose, white sugar, honey, or corn syrup, it undergoes a chemical transformation known as the Maillard reaction. This is the same process that browns bread crusts or caramelizes onions. In milk, it forms compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs are not benign. According to a 2020 review in Nutrients Journal, dietary AGEs have been linked to increased oxidative stress, inflammation, and cellular aging. They accumulate in tissues over time, especially in the liver, kidneys, skin, and blood vessels. For the aging body, where detoxification slows and tissue repair weakens, this accumulation becomes more significant. The liver, our great filter, works tirelessly to process what we consume. When overloaded by AGEs, its ability to detoxify declines. This can result in fatigue, dull skin, poor digestion, and over time contribute to insulin resistance and other metabolic imbalances. I met Samuel, a gentle 76-year-old pianist who loved ending his nights with hot milk and a spoonful of honey. "It helps me sleep," he said. "My mother used to give it to me," but he also struggled with chronic liver markers, slightly elevated enzymes, sluggish digestion, and stiffness in his joints. After learning about AGEs, he made a small shift. He began warming his milk only gently, never boiling, and removed the added sugar, choosing instead a pinch of cinnamon or nutmeg for flavor. 3 months later, his liver tests improved. But more importantly, his sleep became deeper, and he described feeling less heavy in the mornings. The lesson is not that sweetness is evil, nor that tradition must be broken. The lesson is that warmth, when paired with restraint, nourishes, but warmth combined with too much sweetness accelerates decay. In Eastern medicine, the concept of damp heat is used to describe internal conditions caused by rich, sticky, overheated foods. Milk with sugar, especially when boiled, is a classic example. It creates internal residue, slowing the organs, clouding the mind. This does not mean you must give up comfort. It means you must refine it. If you enjoy warm milk, let it be warm, not scalding. If you desire sweetness, consider fruits earlier in the day or spices that warm without harm. Every meal is a message to the body, and when we age, the messages must become clearer, softer, more precise. What we choose in the quiet hours of the evening can either age us or restore us, so listen gently. Sweetness is not always kindness. Sometimes simplicity is the most nourishing gift. Let this be not the end of a list, but the beginning of your awareness. Drink slowly, live wisely. Let us now return, not just to what we eat, but how we eat. After learning which combinations to avoid, we turn now to a softer path toward foods that do not challenge milk, but rather welcome it, balance it, and even enhance its effect on the aging body. Milk, when used wisely, is still a powerful source of nourishment, but it needs the right companions. And for those in their later years, digestion becomes more like a quiet fire. It must be tended, not overwhelmed. Let us explore 6 food groups that pair harmoniously with milk, each chosen for their compatibility, ease of digestion, and benefit to vitality in aging. 1. Whole grains, a grounding foundation. Oats, millet, barley, and brown rice. These ancient grains, when soaked and gently cooked in milk, create soft porridges that are both grounding and easy to digest. They provide soluble fiber to support gut health, stabilize blood sugar, and release energy slowly. Ideal for those who need steady strength, not spikes. A warm bowl of milk-cooked oats in the morning is more than breakfast. It's a message of calm to the nervous system, especially for those whose bodies no longer tolerate heavy meals. 2. Warming spices, supporting the digestive flame. Spices like cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, and nutmeg do more than add flavor. In small amounts, they awaken digestion, reduce inflammation, and bring balance to milk's naturally cooling nature. In Ayurveda, the combination of milk with these spices, sometimes called golden milk, is considered a tonic. Turmeric supports the joints, ginger aids absorption, cinnamon improves circulation. But it must be done gently. A pinch, not a spoonful. The goal is harmony, not heat. 3. Nuts and seeds, nourishment in small packages. Soaked almonds, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia. These tiny sources of life offer healthy fats, plant-based omega-3s, and a satisfying texture when paired with warm milk. Blending soaked seeds into milk or sprinkling them onto porridge allows better absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A and D, which milk contains. For the aging brain and heart, these simple additions carry long-term benefits, not just for the body, but for memory and mood. 4. Yogurt and low-acid fruits, a gentle synergy. Unlike fresh milk, yogurt has already undergone transformation. The fermentation process breaks down lactose and softens protein, making it easier for the older gut to handle. When paired with soft, low-acid fruits like ripe blueberries, avocado, or strawberries, yogurt becomes a complete digestible meal, light, nourishing, and kind to the microbiome. This combination supports immunity, cognitive clarity, and digestion. But timing matters. Enjoy yogurt during the day, not at night, and always at room temperature. Cold dairy at night weakens the digestive fire. 5. Cooked mushrooms, enhancing mineral absorption. Mushrooms, when properly cooked, are one of the few plant-based sources of vitamin D, a nutrient essential for calcium absorption. For those drinking milk for bone health, adding vitamin D-rich foods makes that effort meaningful. Sautéed shiitake, maitake, or portobello mushrooms served alongside or earlier in the day help your body make better use of the calcium in milk, supporting not just bones, but muscles and nerves. 6th, plant proteins, light and repairing. Soft tofu and well-cooked lentils offer protein that is easier to digest than red meat or processed meats, especially for those with sluggish digestion or compromised kidneys. Combining milk with light plant-based meals gives the body a chance to repair, rebuild, and recover without overwhelming it. It is the difference between eating to feel full and eating to feel restored. These are not just food combinations. They are relationships between elements, between flavors, between body and mind. In youth, we chase variety. In age, we seek clarity. And in wisdom, we choose foods not for their excitement, but for their ability to sustain peace inside us. Let your meals reflect that wisdom. Let us continue. In the end, food is not just fuel. It is memory. It is rhythm. It is a quiet conversation between the outer world and the inner life. For those of us in our later years, eating becomes something more than habit. It becomes reflection. Every bite is no longer about performance, but preservation. Not about quantity, but quality. We have walked together through combinations that nourish and combinations that disturb. We have looked closely, not only at what to avoid, but also what to embrace. What this journey reveals is simple. The body speaks, and it always has. The question is whether we've been listening. When digestion feels heavy, when energy fades after eating, when the body sends small signals, they are not punishments. They are reminders to return to awareness, to simplicity, to foods that align rather than collide. Milk, like life, is neutral. It becomes medicine or burden depending on what we pair it with and how we receive it. When combined thoughtfully with grains, spices, seeds, or fermented foods, it becomes a healing ally. When mixed carelessly, it may slow the very healing we seek. Let this not be a list you memorize, but a shift you internalize. You don't need more rules. You need more presence. Before you eat, pause. Before you combine, consider. Before you repeat, reflect. Eat with quiet hands, chew with a soft heart, and remember, how you eat is how you live. Let your meals become your meditation. Let your digestion become your teacher. And let the rest of your life be light,